Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Give space for me, yeah? प्रभु जी फाउंटेन बंद कर दो ना.
Hare Krishna. Please. Switch off the fans. Switch off the fans.
Hare Krishna. So with heart full of gratitude and bliss, let us all very, very enthusiastically, with all possible energy that we have, welcome His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj after a gap of 191 days to be precise. So now let us welcome him by 3 times chanting loudly. Maharaj, on behalf of all of us, we would profusely like to thank you for coming and showering your grace upon all of us after such a long gap. Thank you very, very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please put your mobile in silent mode or kindly switch it off.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Prajachana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Prajachana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayom Vishnupad Paramhansa Pariprajakacharsha Astothara Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramhansa Pariprajakacharsha Astothara Sri Srimad. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Sri Dwarka Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mayi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mayi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Ma Veda Garbhagasthandrim Sarga Udayamam Avaha Dhammaya Paditam Hyagre Yanmam Prarthayate Bhavan. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Ma Veda Garbhagasthandrim Sarga Udyamam Avaha Tanmaya Paditam Hyagre Yanmam Prarthayate Bhavan. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Ma Veda Garbhagasthandrim Sarga Udyamam Avaha Tanmaya Paditam Hyagre Yanmam Prarthayate Bhavan.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Veda Garbhagasthandrim.
Ma Veda Garbhagasthandrim.
Sarga Udyamam पार्थयते भवान्
यन्मां प्रार्थयते भवान् श्रीभगवानुवाच मा वेदगर्भगस्तन्त्रीं
Ladies, Sri Bhagavanuvacha. The Lord, the personality of Godhead, said, Ma, do not, Vedagarbha, O you who have the depth of all Vedic wisdom, Ga, Tandrim, become dejected. Sarge, for creation. Udyamam, enterprises. Avaha, you just undertake. Tat, that which you want. Maya, by me. Apaditam, executed. He, certainly. Agre, previously. Yat, which. Mam, from me. Prarthayate, begging. Bhavan, you. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Any person authorized by either the Lord or his bona fide representative is already blessed, as is the work entrusted to him. Of course, the person entrusted with such a responsibility should always be aware of his incapability and must always look for the mercy of the Lord for the successful execution of his duty. One should not be puffed up because he is entrusted with certain executive work. Fortunate is he who is entrusted, and if he is always fixed in the sense of being subordinate to the will of the Supreme, he is sure to come out successful in the discharge of his work. Arjuna was entrusted with the work of fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And before he was so entrusted, the Lord had already arranged for his victory. But Arjuna was always conscious of his supreme guide in his responsibility. Anyone who takes pride in doing responsible work but does not give credit to the Supreme Lord is certainly falsely proud and cannot execute anything nicely. Brahma and persons in the line of his disciplic succession who follow in his footsteps are always successful in the discharge of loving transcendental service to the Supreme Lord. Om Agyantimidandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadapi Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahakana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Navebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktabinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Astatya Desatarine. I am very grateful by the mercy of Shri Radha Gopinath, Srila Prabhupada, and our beloved Acharyas. We are given this opportunity to be together again in their holy abode of Shri Radha Gopinath Temple. Such moments where the family of Vaishnavas come together are truly precious. Padam padam yadvipadam natesham. Sometimes we take for granted the opportunities we have. But the reality is, there is always danger at every step. And even if we're not walking, there's danger when we stand. And even if we're not standing, there's danger when we sit down or lay down. In other words, there's danger at every moment. From within, without. Adhyatmakadi, Daivakadi, Bhotaka. They are everywhere. Death, imprisonment, separation, challenges that are truly beyond our control. They can come at any time. Just that we could come together today, so many wonderful devotees, to celebrate the mercy we received in the form of the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. To hear, to speak, to pray, to meditate, to chant. It is very rare. Govinda Das, who was a very intimate, loving associate of Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivasacharya, he wrote in his beautiful song, Bhaja Hure Mana, Sri Nanda Nandana, Abhaya Charanara Vindare. He's praying to his mind. Please take shelter, worship Sri Nanda Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Because only in the shelter of the Supreme Lord Krishna can one live without fear. The power of Maya. We can live without fear only because we're ignorant of the realities all around us. Because there's everything to be afraid of at every moment. That's material life. But when we take shelter of the Supreme Lord, we can actually be without fear. Because we are feeling the shelter of the supreme power, the supreme mercy, the supreme love. of the infallible Krishna. When Indra sent torrents of rain to Vrindavan, the Brajavasis were actually helpless. The cows were mooing in desperation. They had no power on their own. But when they took shelter of Krishna and he lifted Giriraj Govardhan, they were happy and completely fearless. Even fear of death does not exist when by Krishna's mercy he reveals the eternal nature of the soul in relation to him. Daivi yeshu gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mame vamye prapadyante mayam etad tarandite. Material nature is very difficult. We see it around us. We should not think that because we become devotees, material nature will be very nice to us. Material nature is the same. We change. In taking shelter of Krishna, in the good or bad experiences, the painful or pleasurable experiences, the successes and failures of this world, we find the happiness of going deeper and deeper, of taking shelter of Krishna. On the path of bhakti, to realize that I'm not this body, I'm the eternal soul, is not just the result of a mechanical process. It's not only because of our practice, it's by the mercy of the Lord. And then Govinda Das continues, Durlabha manava janama satsange. This human life is very rare. But the rarest, most precious of all opportunities, in fact, the greatest of all forms of wealth, is to be in the association of the Lord's devotees. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed in this way. The prime benediction for all humanity is Sankirtan, Prem Sankirtan. To come together with devotees to hear and chant the glories of the Supreme Lord. When we come together like we have today, with this recognition, not that it's another Sunday I have to go to the temple. Not even it's another Sunday morning. I'm so happy I get to go to the temple. Someday you may be on your deathbed and you would give anything to be able to come here to the temple, to hear the glories of the Lord in the association of devotees, in the presence of the most beautiful darshan of Shri Radha Gopinath, in the month of Kartik. In the whole span of creation, this moment will never come again. moment we are being given at this moment. And to value that, to value this, is to actually open our hearts to receive the incredible blessing that is being given to us. Millions, perhaps billions of people, they go to stadiums and other gatherings for entertainment, for political rallies, for religious observations. But how rare it is. Just a few of us in comparison to the population of all living beings in the universe, in creation. We've come together to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And not just hear Srimad Bhagavatam, but hear it from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parampara. To hear from those following in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Goswami. To share the Srimad Bhagavatam among such like-minded devotees who have received the intimate, loving blessings upon you and me that Srila Prabhupada has personally bestowed. It's very rare, very special. The Srimad Bhagavatam itself was spoken in such a setting in order to teach us the mood to receive the message. Parikshit Maharaj had 7 days to live. He didn't just come for class. He gave up his kingdom, he gave up his family, he gave up everything to be in single-mindedness, to take shelter of every moment where he was given this blessing. He didn't even just go someplace to be alone, to meditate. He went to a holy place on the bank of Ganga, where great sages, Vaishnavas, they all assembled. Narada Muni was there, Vyasadeva was there, Vishwamitra, Vashishta. They all came not only to chant Krishna's glories together, but to help him to attain the perfection of life. Why so many thousands and thousands of sages were so concerned with one person? Not just because he was the king, because he was the soul who was sincerely taking shelter. When Sukadeva Goswami was speaking and everyone was in rapt attention hearing, Parikshit Maharaj was deeply grateful for every syllable that was being spoken. Because the time span of every single syllable was simultaneously that much time less he had to live. And you can't get it back. Srila Prabhupada often emphasized how valuable time is. If you waste a moment, whatever intelligence, whatever wealth, nothing could buy back a lost moment. We're also taught there's no use in lamenting over all the lost moments of the past. In fact, in a moment, the present becomes the past. What really is the present moment? It's very transcendental reality. The present becomes the past as soon as we recognize its presence. And in one sense, we're always living in the future in that way, because the present is always turning into the future. But if we're trying to live in the future, then we're really not, because we're actually in the present. This is how refined Krishna has made creation. So there is no great benefit to just lament for all the lost moments of the past. Rather, we learn in the present, and we take very seriously this moment and prepare ourselves so that we could be more equipped to receive Krishna's mercy and take shelter of that mercy for the future. Parikshit Maharaj had only 7 days. And today we're in the 3rd canto. That means the actual verses that we are reading, Parikshit Maharaj was hearing. In that sense, we are sitting on the bank of the Ganga with Parikshit Maharaj, with all the great sages and all the great rishis and all the great acharyas for all time to come, whose consciousness is there, or let us say is here. Third canto, perhaps Parikshit Maharaj had something like 5.5 days to live. How precious was the moment that Parikshit Maharaj heard this verse today, when he hears it. And now we are hearing exactly the same words of Sukadeva Goswami. Maitreya, Vidura. With your permission, I will now begin class. We are reading from Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 9, entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is bringing this verse and this section of Srimad Bhagavatam very much home to all of us. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna arranged Arjuna to be in the greatest dilemma of his whole life. Arjuna and the Pandavas faced many dilemmas in their life. They were blasphemed, they were cheated, they were exiled, they were humiliated. They lived in poverty. So many difficulties. But the culmination of all of them was when Arjuna saw loving relatives on both sides of the battlefield. And he had to take sides and kill them. He was not only thinking of his grandfather, his well-wisher, his teacher, and so many others. Even those who cheated him, I hated him, he was in a mood of just forgiving them and being their well-wisher at that point. He didn't want to fight them. He did not want to kill them. And what about their wives? They were innocent. He knew many of them. He didn't want them to be mourning as widows. And what about their children? The little sons and daughters, some were babies. They're going to lose their father. They're going to leave so many of their uncles. They're going to lose almost the whole family. This was very difficult. Being a compassionate Vaishnav for Arjuna, this was the most difficult moment of his life. To such an extent, he became utterly bewildered. He did not know what to do, what not to do. He was trying to figure it out himself. But the more he tried, the more perplexed. The more he realized the more he tried to figure it out, the more he realized what a serious situation he was in that he could not grasp. Karbanya doso bhata svabhava. And he took shelter of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita was spoken, and everything was arranged in such a way to teach you, to teach me, to teach us. It's actually very personal. The Paramatma, the Lord within our heart, who is our ever well-wishing friend, such a friend, never leaves us. If due to our karmic activities we take birth as a plant or an insect, a snake, or even worse, an envious human being, or any life, we can be awarded the luxuries and the light of living in heavenly planets as a demigod. And then due to misbehavior and forgetfulness, we can become an insect in this world, where at any moment a bird will eat us, or even a nice child playing will crush us. Still, the Paramatma is our best friend. And in a sense, the Paramatma are all expansions of the one Supreme Lord, Krishna. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshya janatishthati. But Krishna is personal. And each Paramatma has a very personal relationship with each soul. It's like each of us has our own little Paramatma. Isn't that special? We may have our own godbrothers, godsisters. We may have our own children, which is very special. We may have our own fathers, mothers. But we have our own Paramatma. It's in our heart that never leaves us, who has been sitting right beside us, our soul, in our hearts, through all different species of life. And he's so patient. He just keeps waiting. Srila Prabhupada quotes the Upanishads. It's compared to two birds in a tree. One is eating the fruits, trying to be happy, but sometimes eats a bitter fruit and suffers, and sometimes eats a sweet fruit and is happy, but that happiness only wants him to get more fruits. And sometimes he's in a tree where all the fruits are bitter and he's really suffering. And other times he's thinking so much happiness. But the other bird is just watching and waiting. Come to me. Turn to me. Just like Arjuna turned to Krishna. The Paramatma in our heart is our ever well-wisher. And the Guru is the external representative of the Paramatma, speaking Paramatma's words, the words of the scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, as the Acharyas have given. So this particular section of Srimad Bhagavatam is in a very intimate, personal way a message to you. And the more we take it that way, the more we will actually spiritually grow. If we think the Supreme Personality of Godhead is speaking to Brahma, this is interesting. The Lord has set the stage to speak to you, to me. And what is the context? Such an incredible lesson. In the previous 2 chapters, Lord Brahma is taking birth on this magnificent lotus flower that has emerged from the navel of Lord Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. And Brahma understands his purpose. He's meant to create, on behalf of the Lord, a universe and populate it. But he really doesn't know how to do it. He's all alone. And the Srimad Bhagavatam describes, he's trying to search, where is he actually coming from? What is the source of this lotus that seems to be the only reality? Lord Vishnu is laying in the ocean of devastation. There's nothing except this massive ocean. The ocean of devastation. It's not like a peaceful cruise. No created being could survive. It's so turbulent. And Lord Vishnu is sleeping on it. Completely peaceful. And Srila Prabhupada describes that a lot of people have insomnia. It's really hard to sleep because there's so much turbulence in the world and so much turbulence in the mind. Here's the Supreme Lord, the most turbulent situation in all creation, devastation of everything, and he's sleeping on that ocean. That's why we take shelter of Krishna. Because you cannot find shelter unless someone could give shelter. And in his own mystic way, Yoga Nidra, he's sleeping. And now Brahma is being born and Lord Vishnu is first opening his eyes. This is the way it is described. And Brahma, like Arjuna, very bewildered and not knowing what to do, how to do it. Arjuna is asked to fight a battle. Brahma is asked to create a universe. And they're both, how to do this? He performed long period of time tapasya. He did sadhana. And then Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personally revealed himself to Brahma. And Brahma's praying. Interestingly, what he's begging and praying for, more than anything, is that he doesn't become proud. He doesn't have the misconception that he's the doer. He understands he is completely, totally subordinate to the Supreme Lord. And Brahma is crying out to Lord Vishnu in his prayers, please let me always be conscious of this. I am always subordinate to you. This is a basic teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Spiritual advancement doesn't mean just the external achievements that we may have. We may have attained many goals. We may know so much. We may have so much influence over others. But these are all external unless we understand that I'm not the doer. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, I am the source of remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness from within the heart. Whatever we know is by Krishna's mercy. Whatever we don't know is by Krishna's mercy. Srila Prabhupada taught in his prayers on Jaladuta the real spirit of one who's in knowledge of a Vaishnava. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind to this useless soul. Somehow or other you have brought me to this terrible place. You must have some plan for me. Now you can do whatever you like with me. Let me be your puppet and make me dance the way you want me to dance. This idea of a puppet is very graphic. If a puppet were try to take credit for his nice dance, we would all think that that puppet is really an illusion. And if you're the puppeteer and the puppet's thinking like that, what would you do? Eventually you would just drop it. And the puppet would just fall to the floor. So we're in Krishna's hands. Everyone is. Those who are under the spell of Maya or illusion are in Krishna's hands through the strings of the three modes of material nature. Goodness, passion, ignorance. And those modes of nature are making us dance. And we're thinking we're so nice. And those who have pure hearts, or aspiring to have pure hearts, recognize we're in the hands of God. We're in the hands of Krishna. And we could understand that in a very relevant way. Krishna is none different than his words, his message, his holy names. To the extent we're following Krishna's teachings, yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadam. When we're following the will of our gurus in the service of Srila Prabhupada, then we're in Krishna's hands. When we're sincerely taking shelter of Krishna's holy names. Rinadapi sunichena tarori bhasihishna. Amana manadena kirtaniya sadahari. This is such an applicable principle to what we're speaking. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught we should chant the holy names like this puppet. Humble like blade of grass, tolerant, forgiving like tree. Offering all respects and honor to others and not expecting or demanding in return. In this way we can experience Krishna in his holy names. Because when Krishna is pleased with us, and only when he's pleased with us, does he reveal himself. We can chant Krishna's names for millions of births and never really experience Krishna unless Krishna manifests himself within his names. Krishna is the name of God, is in the name of God. But God's also in our hearts, so we don't recognize. God's in the hearts of others, so we don't recognize. So we can't really recognize Krishna unless Krishna reveals himself to us. And Krishna reveals himself when we actually are in this mood of Lord Brahma, the original guru of our disciplic succession in the whole universe. He knows he's going to do unbelievable, incredible things that no one else can do. Krishna's going to give him the Vedas. In fact, Krishna's addressing Brahma. This verse, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom. When Garbhodakshai Vishnu is saying that to you, that you are the depth of Vedic wisdom. It's not like someone making a comment on your Instagram or something. Because he is. He is the depth of Vedic wisdom. But he's praying. He's praying to always be subordinate. He's praying that he will not become proud, that he will never feel himself to be the doer. And Srila Prabhupada, in this wonderful purport, he describes, he's actually summarizing in a very special way what Brahma has already prayed for. You see, until Brahma completely surrendered and took shelter with all humility and devotion, Vishnu didn't speak. Similarly, Krishna did not speak Bhagavad Gita until there was that shelter. Any person authorized either by the Lord or his bona fide representative is already blessed, as is the work entrusted to him. Of course, the person entrusted with such a responsibility should always be aware of his incapability and must always look for the mercy of the Lord for the successful execution of his duty. One should not be puffed up because he is entrusted with certain executive work. Fortunate is he who is so entrusted, and if he is always fixed in the sense of being subordinate to the will of the Supreme, he is sure to come out successful in the discharge of his work. So when we are following these principles honestly, earnestly, the instructions of Guru and Gauranga, then we're actually accepting Krishna as our puppeteer. Otherwise, it's just Maya through the three modes of material. That is how we know. Srila Prabhupada appealed to us again and again to always be sincere, serious, and without ulterior motives. And if we're following in that way, we become the puppet of Krishna, the servant of the Lord. This chapter is entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. And here the Lord is speaking the first verse after hearing the prayers of Arjuna. Yesterday was the disappearance day of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. I'd like to speak something in relationship to today's verse. If I ask if there's time, I know you'll say there is, even if there isn't. But time is precious. Time is so precious that very soon this class will be over. And you will all have wonderful Krishna prasadam. And Krishna is so merciful. Previously, people would hear and they would never forget. And as Kali Yuga progressed, Vyasadeva was very merciful. He knew now people will forget. So he put Krishna's words and the Acharya's words in writing. So many of Acharyas have written books so that we could remember these teachings. And now we not only have books, but we have recorders in so many ways to hear. So many opportunities. But yet, how much do we take advantage of these opportunities? Parikshit Maharaj left everything to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Great devotees have gone to dedicate their lives to hearing from the great sages and rishis and Vaishnavas and keep their words always in their hearts. Now in this world, because there are so many distractions, Krishna gives us opportunity. There's tape recorders, and there's computers, and there's internets, and there's so many ways to hear transcendental sound vibration. And also there's books. And also there's classes where we discuss with each other. So actually there's not much excuse for not being absorbed in hearing and chanting. To the degree there's distractions, there's newer ways to focus our mind on Krishna too. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was in that area of Kanai Natashala during his travels, he looked toward the Padmavati River and cried out, Narottam, Narottam. And then he fell unconscious. Everybody around understood a great personality named Narottam is coming. But they had never seen Lord Chaitanya exactly like this, weeping, crying, trembling, and fainting, calling out the name of a devotee. And Nityananda Prabhu came to him. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I am depositing my own prema rasa, my own ecstatic love in the river Padma. And he instructed the Padma River that when Narottam comes, you should deliver my love to him. She asked, how will I know who this Narottam is? He said, as soon as he touches you, you will overflood. That is how you will know. And he instructed Nityananda Prabhu at the proper time to bring Narottam Das to receive Lord Chaitanya's love. Radha Bhavaduti Subalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. What is that love? That love that in the spiritual world of Goloka Vrindavan, even Krishna wanted to taste and understand. He wanted to experience the love of Radha. He wanted to understand what it was about himself that brought such happiness to Radha, that awakened such love. And the happiness she experienced when she tastes his love. That is Lord Chaitanya. He was not just giving Narottam Das Thakur love of God. He was actually entrusting Narottam Das Thakur with his own love, with that Radha Bhava. And with Radha Bhava, this supreme compassion for all living beings in this world. Just around the time when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed from this world, he performed his final chapter of pastimes. Just around that time, Narottam was born. He was born in a very royal family. Ketari Gram, which is today in Bangladesh, was then under the rule of a zamindar, a very kingly landowner named Raj Krishnananda Datta, and his wife Narayani. And a beautiful child was born. They did an astrological calculation. And the astrologer, he was describing the wonderful qualities of this boy. But he said, but you must be very careful, because he will leave everything of his home to seek shelter of the Lord. Narottam was their only child. No brothers, no sisters. He was the heir. He was the only person to carry on the family's legacy in the line of his mother and father, to inherit the land, the property, the palaces, the influence. When it was time for the grain ceremony, and in those days, Bengal, this was a very major festival. So many people who loved their leaders, they came together to celebrate. And they offered nice payasam to Narottam. But somehow or other, he kept his mouth tightly closed and would not look at it. And sometimes we are blessed with the service of putting first grains in baby's mouth. Sometimes it can be quite messy. And we have seen sometimes the babies just look up and open their mouth and happily eat it. And sometimes they turn away and they keep their mouth closed, and sometimes they scream and they cry and keep crying. And yet the mother and father are just like waiting for me to somehow or other get that spoon in their baby's mouth. But somehow or other, we've always been successful. But in the case of Narottam, there was no possibility of success. He was so determined not to look at it or open his mouth for it. He wasn't crying, he was just refusing. 6-month child. Everyone was bewildered. Narayani, Krishnaranga Dutt, what to do. And then a great sage, he could understand. He asked, has this payasam, has it been offered to Krishna? He said, no. He said, this child will only eat Krishna prasadam. So they did a really nice special offering. And then they brought it back, and as soon as they put that in front of Narottam Das, he just opened his eyes and he blissfully ate. It seems like he ate all of it. So Krishna, Nanda Dutt, and Narayani, they made a vow, we will never give anything to this child unless it is Krishna's Mahaprasadam. And when he was just a child, he was very learned, because he was learning Shastras and so many other subject matters with such excellence. But there was one very elderly Vaishnav. His name was Krishna Das. He lived in K3. He was a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He had associated with the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. And he would love to discuss the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and his wonderful relationships with his devotees. And Narottam, at every moment possible, he would run, a little child, to Krishnadas to ask him, please narrate the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. He was so eager to hear. And Krishnadas was so eager to speak. Not only the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, but especially Narottam was very much overwhelmed hearing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya's devotees and their devotional qualities. It was his life and soul. When he heard the pastimes of one devotee of the Lord's devotee, Srinivasacharya, something awakened in his heart. When will I meet him? When will he be my friend? This wonderful story reveals how Narottam Das Thakur, his whole life was defined just by hearing. Everything he knew about Lord Chaitanya was just by hearing from some. Just as when we read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, we read about the qualities of all the devotees. We're getting the same blessing that Narottam Das had. But how grateful, how absorbed he was. He was just yearning, longing with all of his heart to be in the association and the service of these devotees. And one night, while he was in a moods of constant separation from Lord Chaitanya and devotees, Lord Chaitanya appeared to him in a vision. And he spoke to Narottam Das. That he will truly, first Nityananda Prabhu appeared to him in a dream and invited him to come to the Padma River to receive the gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Narottam Das Thakur went to the Padmavati River, the river overflooded immediately. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came out of the river in a transcendental form and embraced him and awarded Narottam Das that ecstatic love. Under a tree that is now worshipped as Prema Tali, Narottam Das was sitting weeping in love for Lord Chaitanya. His dark complexion had become golden, the same color as Lord Chaitanya. When he didn't come home, his parents were looking everywhere for them. And finally he was found at Prem Tali, at the bathing ghat on the river. When they saw him crying, totally transformed. with a different complexion. They couldn't understand. When they took him home, he was just crying for Krishna, crying to be in Vrindavan, chanting the names of the Lord's associates. So his parents guarded him because they were afraid he would run away from home. And when the opportune moment came, he escaped. He was still quite young. All alone. He was actually, I haven't told this story in a long time, I'm sorry. But one night, Lord Chaitanya appeared to him in a vision. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, you should go to Vrindavan. And there, you should become the disciple of Lokanath Goswami. Narottam Das Thakur then somehow escaped. And while traveling through the jungles and the forests of Bengal, then he had to go through the jungles and forests of Bihar, all the way to Vrindavan. From K3, perhaps 1,000 kilometers he had to walk. Guards were sent by Krishnananda Dutt to find his son and bring him home. When they found him in the forest after many, many days, Narottam, with tears of sincere love in his eyes, he spoke to them. That I am feeling such separation from the Lord of my heart in Vrindavan. If a young lady gives her heart to her husband and cannot live without him, what can you do? Similarly, I've given my heart to Krishna. What can I do? I must go to Vrindavan. I'm being called. And the guards were so transformed, they not only let him go, they gave him some money for his journey. And when he reached Vrindavan Dham, on the way, actually, he had no food. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually came as a beautiful golden complexioned Brahman and gave him some milk. And he had a beautiful vision of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami inviting him to come to Vrindavan, declaring his special mission. Rupa and Sanatan had already left the world when he arrived. He went to Govindaji temple. And there, seeing Shri Radha Govinda, the Ishtadev of Sri Rupa Goswami, he was crying in ecstatic separation in such a way that devotees went to Radha Damodar temple where Srinivasacharya was with Jiva Goswami. And actually they were waiting a long time. It was revealed to them that this great Narottam was coming. Now when they heard that he was sitting on the floor of Govindaji temple in ecstatic love, they came and brought him to Radha Damodar temple. And we have heard many times how he approached Lokanath Goswami. Jiva Goswami was bringing him to all the great acharyas, Goswamis of Vrindavan, to meet. When he asked Lokanath Goswami to be guru, Lokanath Goswami replied, I have never made a disciple in my whole life, and I never will. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear friend and Lord, has left us, and Nityananda Prabhu has left us, and Gadadhar Pandit has left us, and Advaitacharya and Srivas has left us. After Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami have left us, I'm simply here passing my times chanting the holy names and crying in love and separation. I have no power to initiate anyone. Narottam Das Thakur did the most humble, menial, simple services secretly to serve Lokanath Goswami. And by that humble service, Lokanath Goswami was so overwhelmed. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally appeared in the heart of Lokanath Goswami, inspiring him to give initiation to Narottam. Jiva Goswami awarded Narottam Das Thakur the name Thakur Mahashoy. Narottam Das Thakur Mahashoy. And he was classmates with Srinivasacharya and Shyamananda Goswami. It was really an international society for Krishna consciousness. This example is often cited, but it should always be remembered. When service with love is being offered to our gurus as the center of our life, then we actually put Krishna in the center of our life. And when Krishna is in the center, there can be true harmony. Srinivasacharya was disciple of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Shyamananda Goswami was a disciple of Hridaya Chaitanya in Orissa. And Narottam Das Thakur was disciple of Lokanath Goswami. And they were all taking shiksha from Jiva Goswami. And they were all offering all respects to each other as gurus. There's beautiful stories of the three of them meeting Gopal Bhatta Goswami to receive instructions and blessings. Lokanath Goswami. In the inspiration of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, Jiva Goswami, he received messages from Bengal, especially from Janava Devi, the consort of Nityananda Prabhu, to send these great devotees to Bengal to preach. So Jiva Goswami arranged the books, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita written by Kaviraj Goswami, the books of Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, to be put in wonderful chests, to be pulled by bullock carts. But before going, these three great saints went to receive blessings and instructions from all the various acharyas of Vrindavan. One of the great highlights, they all went to Sri Radha Kund to receive the blessings of Raghunath Das Goswami and Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. These Goswamis, many of them, they never left Vrindavan. They came to give their whole lives. There's no record of Raghunath Das Goswami. He was like Narottam. He was also a very wealthy family. He also escaped. He lived with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri for many years. And after Lord Chaitanya left this world, and Swarup Damodar Goswami left, he went to Vrindavan, never left. After Rupa and Sanatan traveled to various places, they settled in Vrindavan, never left. There's no record of Jiva Goswami leaving after he came there to stay. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Lokanath Goswami. But yet they're sending the dearmost devotees of their lives to leave Vrindavan to preach the glories of Vrindavan. Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, Shamananda were given this instruction. Narottam Das Thakur, in the eternal pastimes of Goloka Vrindavan, Acharyas identify him sometimes as Vilas Manjari and sometimes as Champak Manjari. He's an eternal resident of Vrindavan. But yet, out of these great acharyas' compassion for the fallen souls all over the world, they sent them to go out and preach, and gave them all the books to go with them. I'm just seeing the parallel with our beloved Srila Prabhupada. He was living in Vrindavan at Radha Damodar Temple, which is exactly the same place where Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shamananda lived. Right at the samadhi of Rupa Goswami, where they were taking their instructions. And Srila Prabhupada left that place under the instruction of his Guru Maharaj, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to fulfill the mission of Lord Chaitanya, to take the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to every town and village throughout the world. And when Srila Prabhupada left, he went by train to Calcutta. Then he went by boat on Jaladuta. And along with him, he had the books, 5 crates filled with Srimad Bhagavatams, translated in English language. Similarly, these 3 great saints, there was a wonderful ceremony. Jiva Goswami went to the borders of Vrindavan after receiving such blessings. And after some days, all the books were stolen. And in those days, the books were handwritten on palm leaves and scrolls. There was no printing presses. This was a major disaster. Original books of Goswami stolen. And Srinivasacharya, he sent Narottam Das Thakur to go ahead and Shamananda, and he waited to find those books. When Narottam Das Thakur arrived in the very place that he escaped from, Ketari Gram, his father and mother had already passed away. His uncle had one son named Santosh Datta, and he inherited everything. When Narottam Das Thakur came, he didn't claim anything for himself. He did not come to take wealth, he came to give wealth. Upon feeling the love, the compassion of Narottam Thakur, upon hearing his teachings, hearing the wonderful histories of the Acharyas, Santosh Datta became his surrendered disciple. He said, whatever is in my kingdom, everything and everyone, utilize as you like to spread Lord Chaitanya's message. It all belongs to you. Narottam Das Thakur did not take anything for himself. He simply engaged Santosh Datta in assisting to distribute the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. The whole kingdom of Ketari Gram became the celebrated disciples of Narottam Das Thakur. He went on a pilgrimage. There are beautiful books, the Bhakti Ratnakar, Narottam Vilas, Prem Vilas. There are many different books that describe the wonderful pastimes of Thakur Narottam. He visited Navadvip, where he had beautiful visions of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. He visited Jagannath Puri. He went to Ekachakra, the village of Nityananda Prabhu. And in each of these places, there were such intimate revelations of loving reciprocation between the Lord and his devotee. Then he returned to Ketari. And he had a vision in the guise of a dream where Lord Chaitanya appeared to him and said, I am waiting for you. On the outskirts of Ketari, there is a very wealthy man who has several godowns filled with grains, but they are filled with angry, venomous snakes. In my deity form, I am in that godown waiting for you. Narottam Das Thakur woke from his vision and was asking around Khetri, is there any place where there's go-down filled with snakes? And everybody knew. They said yes. And so he went to that place, and he met the owner. And he asked permission, can I go into your go-down? Someone's waiting for me in there. He said, no. This man panicked, because Narottam is like the guru of Khetri Gram. He said, no, you cannot go. It is filled with angry, venomous snakes. He said, I've tried everything to remove those snakes. He got snake charmers. He got different people to do different types of yagyas. He did whatever other types of things farmers do to get rid of snakes. He said, whatever I've done, the snakes hiss louder with more anger. He said, I have completely boarded up and what do business people say? I've written it off as a loss. There's no chance. Whatever grains are there are gone forever. Narottam Das Thakur smiled and said, I'm going in. Someone is waiting for me. And the man was pleading with him, no, 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 you cannot go in, you cannot go in. He was trying to stop him, and then the people of the town heard about this, and they were all crying to Narottam, no, put yourself in the position of these people. This Narottam is now their life, their soul, their guru, their representative of God. He means more than everything to them. And he's happily walking into this go-down filled with snakes. And even from a distance, you could hear them hissing. Narottam Das Thakur walked right up. As everyone was screaming for him to turn back, no one would go with him. And he opened up the doorway of the go-down. And hundreds of these venomous snakes, they all slithered outside and went into the forest. Everyone was watching. Thakur, Narottam went into the go-down and came out with a beautiful golden murti of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Gauranga and his eternal consort Vishnu Priya. And as he was carrying the golden form of Gauranga, he was chanting the holy names of the Lord, and all the people around were on a procession going back to his Bhajan kutir. How glorious was this historical moment. And Thakur Narottam, he placed the deity of Gauranga down in his kutir, bowed down, and for the first time gazed upon the Lord in total absorption, offering his heart, his body, his mind, his soul in the loving service of the Lord. And as he was absorbed in Hare Krishna, as he was absorbed in gazing upon Lord Gauranga, and Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu was gazing upon him. Narottam was inspired within to chant a beautiful form of kirtan never heard before. There is a whole tradition of kirtan bhajan established by Narottam Das Thakur that was revealed by this beautiful form of Gauranga to the world through Narottam Das Thakur at that moment. He was singing, he was dancing, and it captured the hearts of everyone. Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared to him in another vision that you should join Srinivasacharya and Shyamananda to celebrate the first ever historical celebration of Gaur Purnima. I think I should end here. But Narottam Das Thakur went to Jajigram, where Srinivasacharya was residing. And they called for Shyamananda Goswami to come from Orissa. And they began to plan this beautiful Gaur Purnima festival. Another wonderful, instructive moment that happened at that time is when Narottam Das Thakur, after several years, had this wonderful reunion with Srinivasacharya. After they departed at Vanabhishnupuram during their journey from Vrindavan, Srinivasacharya introduced Narottam Das Thakur to his own, Srinivasacharya's own disciple, whose name was Ramchandra Kaviraj, and his brother Govinda Kaviraj. Srinivasacharya, he declared that Ramchandra Kaviraj is so very, very dear to me. I entrust him to assist you. Ramchandra Kaviraj was so very deeply grateful. And the two of them, Ramchandra Kaviraj and Narottam Das Thakur, became the most intimate, loving friends. Although Ramchandra Kaviraj was the disciple of Srinivasacharya, they became the absolute dearmost godbrothers. And they did so many things together. How they preached, how they worshiped the Lord, how they performed kirtan. Many histories reveal to us. So together, they were planning the celebration. The first invitation that they composed was to Nityananda Prabhu's consort, Janava Devi. She was to be the presiding acharya for the whole celebration. They were inviting all of the personal associates of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda who were still alive on the planet. throughout Orissa and Bengal. And hand-wrote personal invitations for each devotee. Today we get invitations. They're usually, they're very nice sometimes. They're usually printed. But all the hundreds of people they were inviting get personally written only for them. And they didn't mail them. They didn't even send emails. They had a personal devotee come with gifts, wonderful gifts, and go right to the home of that devotee, even if they had to walk hundreds of kilometers to reach that devotee's home, and they would give them the gifts and the invitation. This was the personal, loving way that they induced devotees to come. And when Janava Devi had a vision of Lord Nityananda, who told her that an invitation is soon to come, and I will appear to you with Lord Gauranga and associates during this festival. When Janava Devi received this invitation, she was so happy. She immediately began the journey. She was a very elderly lady at the time. And she was going to the villages where all the great Vaishnavas were living to also invite them and have them come along. She went to Shantipur from Kardaha, where she was living on bank of Ganga. She went to Shantipur, and there Achyutananda and two of his brothers were still living. She said, "Come, let us go." And they joined the entourage of Janava. She went to Katwa, and there Raghunandan Thakur, disciple of Narahari Sarakar, yes, they joined the procession. In Navadvip, whatever devotees were there from Navadvip, still from Lord Chaitanya's time, they joined Janava's procession. Vrindavan Das Thakur, the author of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, came with her. When they finally arrived to the Padma River, there were beautiful boats arranged to take them across. And Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivasacharya, Shamananda Goswami, Ramchandra Kaviraj, and all of their most intimate, loving disciples were engaged in personally serving each of these devotees. Each devotee had a special residence. Each devotee had personal servants to help them. And then the celebration with Janava Devi's blessings and all of the great acharyas who were present. It was a wonderful festival. On the day of Gaur Purnima, Srinivasacharya performed installation for the Lord Gauranga deity. And there were 5 sets of Radha Krishna deities that were also installed on that day. And I'll end with this simple little pastime. Janava and all the acharyas, they requested Narottam Das Thakur to have kirtan. He began a very slow, sweet kirtan. And Janava gazed upon Thakur Narottam, and through her glance she infused her and Lord Nityananda's full potency of their mercy, their love, and their compassion. That glance infused Narottam Das Thakur to sing with such love, such sweetness, such spiritual power. Soon, kartals and mridangas were joining into the kirtan. It was going deeper and deeper and deeper into the bhavs of love of God. Raghunandan Thakur, who is a personal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who Lord Chaitanya himself praised, glorified in so many ways. Raghunandan Thakur, although one of the senior most acharyas there, he was so overwhelmed and humbled by this beautiful kirtan. He began to worship each mridanga and each kartal. He was putting garlands on the kartals, garlands on the mridangas, garlands on all the kirtan singers, garlands on everyone. He was putting chandan, sandalwood pulp upon them. Because in Harinam Sankirtan, everything and everyone that is accompanying the holy name is supremely sacred. He was worshiping the devotees, the instruments. He was worshiping everything connected to the Sankirtan. And the kirtan went to such heights of transcendental emotion. Thakur Narottam infused with Nityananda and Janava's compassion. He was crying while singing in separation from Lord Chaitanya and all their associates. And soon everyone was chanting in total absorption, samadhi, feeling separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and all of their devotees who had years before left this world. And as they were singing and crying in this spirit, suddenly everyone witnessed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. His golden complexion, his long arms raised toward the sky, his lotus-like eyes brimming with tears of compassion. Mahaprabhu was dancing. And along with him was Lord Nityananda. Janava was seeing her beloved Lord Nityananda before her eyes after so many years, as did everyone. And Srivas appeared. And Achyutananda saw his father, Advaitacharya. And then there was Haridas Thakur, and Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Ramananda Rai. Murari Gupta. All these devotees were dancing and singing in kirtan just as they were in Srivasangam. Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami had long ago left the world. They appeared. They were all dancing and singing together. Not only they were dancing and singing, but they were dancing and singing with all the devotees. It's not like everyone was in the temple and they were on the altar. The Panchatattva and all of their associates came right into the temple and were personally, Lord Chaitanya was dancing with Narottam. Advaitacharya was dancing with Achyutananda and his sons. Haridas Thakur was dancing with everyone. Such a kirtan. It was a crescendo of ecstatic love, a crescendo of Sankirtan like the world has never seen. It filled the universe, this beautiful sound of kirtan. And the tears of love that they were all sharing with one another. Suddenly, at the peak of happiness, Lord Gauranga and his associates disappeared. It's not that they went somewhere. They just weren't there anymore. Just like a flash of lightning from a blue sky, they appeared and now they disappeared. And whatever happiness the devotees were feeling, now they were feeling intense sadness and separation. How would they live? They're actually running, crying out the names. Where is Haridas? Where is Srivas? Where is Advaita? Where is Lord Gauranga? Where is Nityananda? They were besides themselves, almost lost their minds and their hearts. And perhaps more than anyone, Janava, who was again united with her beloved Nityananda Prabhu and all of her beloved associates, she was in that mood. But yet, in her transcendental motherly love and as the great Acharya of the time, she had to pacify them. She called for Srinivasacharya and said, it's time for everyone to celebrate Holi. Gaur Purnima is also holy. And they arranged those natural, fragrant powders and put them on the altar. And Janava Devi personally went on the altar, and to each of the deities that were installed, she sprinkled the powders upon them. And then she told Srinivasacharya and the others, now you distribute it among the devotees, the Mahaprasad. And they began to shower each other with the Mahaprasad in the form of the colors of holy. And then they were all completely happy again. Just sharing the mercy of Lord Gauranga with one another. And this is a beautiful lesson. The way we will really feel Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presence and feel true happiness. Lord Chaitanya, his associates, all of our beloved gurus and saints, when we share their mercy with one another, they are present with us. Krishna instructed, wherever my devotees are chanting my names and glories, I am there. That's where you will always find me. Srila Prabhupada, personally, he taught us that he will forever be living. He will forever be present and living with the devotees who are striving to follow his instructions. This is the spirit of Sankirtan. When we are absorbed in striving to inspire one another to remember Krishna and love Krishna, Krishna is here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. It's almost dinner time. Please. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vasakyate Satarine. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Please chant very loudly with great feeling. With all of our heart, with all of our power, let us call out the holy names together to express our gratitude in our sincere intent to serve with love. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please do not have your backs toward the deities.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai go Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please raise your arms. Much louder, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone. Much louder, please. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Much louder, please. We should be chanting in such a way that even the most torrential monsoon rainstorm will feel humbled. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Jai Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya eva cha Patithanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Thank you very much.
ज़्यादा हम बना भी नहीं कर सकते।